Thank you. Thank you, Conservation Commissioners. We're here tonight for the meeting of October 9th. We are starting at 7 o'clock, and thanks to our tech team for bringing us on time. Thank you. Let's start our agenda with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And for a roll call, thank you. Luke.
Yes.
And you're all through the town hall whole process?
Yep.
Okay.
Just going full group.
Full member, thank you. I knew that was coming soon in a theater. Ellen. Here. And Jess.
Here.
Elizabeth. Here. Zach.
Here.
Jeff.
Present.
Chris, present. So we have her, I did hear from Emma, she has that event tonight at high school, so she couldn't be here. I was hoping we would have George, because George is on energy and environment and could report back a little bit about their ideas with the high school. But I did hear from him. Oh, that was the wrong door. I was thinking like, okay, we've conjured him up, but no. We knew in advance that Colin was going to be absent for a family reunion in the Midwest, so. Uh-oh. No, thank you for helping us.
This one.
Uh-oh. Thank you for noticing or for caring about it. Looking in the room for any sort of public comment. I don't see any other visitors here, so we can move on to approving the minutes of September 11th. Did people have an opportunity to read them or make comments about them?
Yes,
Do you find something, Elizabeth?
No, I was just saying yes to the first, no, I mean, I didn't have any comments.
Oh, okay, thank you. Any other comments? Motion to approve the minutes of September 11th.
So moved.
Second? Okay, moved by Ellen, seconded by Jess. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Regular business. Rosa Property. So it's been back and forth a couple of times about sidewalk, no sidewalk, weather, bad weather, this, that, and the other thing. The Rosa Property is moving forward, and honestly, in a way I can't fully describe because of the final funding mechanism, but we do have the other sidewalk group coming from LCHIP.
No, they were there.
They were there and I was
Yeah.
not there, right.
Right, we actually finally met on September 29th, and it was myself, Bridget, Bart, Wayne, the owner, landowner, was there, and three people from, they have a review committee, some staff from LCHIP, as well as some of the other technical people, so Matt Tarr, Pete Steckler on the committee, and Neil Bungard, who's a new staff member for LCHIP. Those were the three that were there to review the property. And we had a nice walk from where we park at Wayne's place in the back, all the way past the area that we did the conservation easement back to the fee, back to Falls Brook, which is, the fee part is what LCHIP is involved with. So we explained the whole project. They seemed on board with it. We talked about the meadow, and they really liked that aspect of the property in Falls Brook. So I think what Neil said is they have, I don't think I have quite the numbers right, but maybe 5.5 million in requests and about 3.5 million in funding. And so these are both cultural and natural resource projects. So it's very competitive. And ours is somewhat unique because the fee part's in the back, which is the least developable. So, they go on, they have to use all these criteria. But I think both Matt and Pete recognize the ecological value of that particular property, so fingers crossed.
There's a date certain or a guess?
So first week of November, they
Okay.
will make their decision. So the committee recommends to the LCHIP, the Natural Resource Technical Review Committee recommends to the full LCHIP committee, and then they make approvals, and those go to Governor and Council. But I think they let you know before it goes to Governor and Council, so somewhere around the first week of November, which is about when we also will hear about the Moose Plate grant, which we submitted as well. So those will be big ones. And then we've submitted the warrant article for $145,000 through the process, which I assume will go through the process as well. and hopefully be on the warrant in March. And then we have one more grant application in the spring. So we'll know a lot before the end of the year in terms of how we're doing. And, yeah. So
I would have loved to have heard what Matt Tarr had to say about here's the meadow kind of birds, and here's the scrubby kind of birds, and here's the tree line kind of birds, and, well, not
Yeah,
tree
yeah,
line,
no,
but
I think he indicated that Fallsbrook he thinks it's a very valuable, important ecological area, so that was good. Yep, so moving
Thank
along.
you. Any questions about the Rosa project or land or piece of land or? Okay, thank you. Turtlefest, the sidebar group, the Turtlefest planning group is going to be meeting October 21st at noon right in here. So if anybody's interested and can make a daytime meeting like that, do come. Otherwise, we'll have informal notes. I'm not calling them meeting minutes because it's a group, a study group, not a meeting group, but we can distribute to the Conservation Commission a report about that meeting.
Chris, is that like the advisory group or whatever we call it?
What did we call it? We called it advisory group, I think.
It wasn't advisory, but it was just the Turtlefest planning.
Yep,
Yeah.
steering committee, planning committee.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy to join that. I don't know. I didn't see that email for that meeting.
Because we just got back, Bart asked Lindsay, and, somebody else did Bart ask if they could make it. Oh, Heather from the library. And then the new library director wants to come.
Oh, cool.
So he was figuring out his schedule and whatnot, so that's how it landed this late in the game for October 21st.
Okay.
And
At
what was
noon
the
right here.
time?
Pardon?
Noon was the
Yeah,
time?
noon here, yeah. Thank you. So then, from the Conservation Commission, there's a couple of things that we should talk about for Turtlefest, which is, for instance, we do have, I had to just go ahead and do it, a birdwalk leader. So it's Dick Lutz, and he's led bird walks before for the Sunrise Sunset Center, and he does it for the same organization, well, for the South. Audubon's tricky because there's New Hampshire Audubon, but then there's the South Tier Audubon. So Dick has done it just as our colleague Julie is on that board of the Seacoast Region Audubon Society. So Dick is going to lead a bird walk. Then he had the idea to do a bird walk and then give a presentation as well. Talking about that whole layout with Bart and how it could look, how do you folks feel about having it feel more like a lot of conferences you've been to, where there could be a keynote speaker and then breakout sessions? So last year everything was just in one spot. You could see everything by just coming and sitting right there. But we'd like to have a couple of more presenters, a couple more topics, and so it could be choose this or this, choose this or this. So have concurrent sessions. That way we could offer a little more, have a little more diversity maybe, but also have things that were there last year, but have them come back. And if you saw it last year, you might want to see it again, or if you didn't see it last year but heard about it, you could hear it for the first time. So for instance, Turtle Rescue League could come again, and that could be exciting to have them again as well. But if you saw it once, not that much changes with how they take care of injured or turtles needing the rehab program. But it's such a valuable thing, we thought, well, have them back if that date's available. But that could be coupled with choose that or that, choose that or that. Also, expanding from just turtles to the idea of habitat and where the turtles live and all whatnot, that gave us the opportunity to have birds, bugs, this, that, and the other thing. And one thing that came to mind was, and one thing that's been missing is geology. Anything about, many of our trails have big, huge, and I don't know the vocabulary, not being a geologist, but big, huge boulders of different types, and boulders from different eras, and different places where boulders were, or where there's sand that got deposited from glaciers, or all those things that factor into the geology world. And that's interesting for many of our trails, because those are features on many of our trails. So Bart is going to ask through UNH if there's anybody in the geology department that could be a speaker about that, and then even have time to come out and scope a trail and then be able to say what specifically is there, if not more generic, saying this is what's typical in our area, which works as well. But that's something different. Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to be able to include more opportunities. I'm just wondering if you were to do that, would you balance different target audiences? So is there, unfortunately, I missed it by a couple of hours last year, but, so you would want to think about who the age group of the different potential sessions, and have them just think about that in terms of not having, conflict or overlap. So I don't know if you had a target audience or not, and how you built the program around your audience, but that would be something to think about if you're going to further refine it.
I would say the only consideration we put for ages and targeted audiences was what could the library be doing for crafts for kids? And then what could the everybody else's who are independent of age or background, just being conservation-minded or interested in loosely defined outdoors? I think that was the only thing we pinpointed, was kids and everybody else.
Yeah, I think we wanted it to be family friendly, so we talked about the talks also being, not overly technical necessarily, but drawing in families.
Up through middle school, starting in elementary school.
Oh, anybody.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to stereotype and say like, well, people of this age, they're sedentary and they just want to watch the Audubon Society documentary. There's...
No,
Yeah.
I think it's great. I just was curious to know what the overall audience was. I did go to the Turtle Talk at the library, and it seemed that there were, again, quite a mix. There definitely a nice group of young families there. And kids.
Yeah, that's the audience of the library, certainly.
Oh, okay.
Well, for that was, with their graphics and stuff, that's why they were targeting it, because they knew that that program, that group was going to be here as well. So they kind of took it upon themselves to do it a little differently, because they ended up taking Turtle to the library and not to here, because they could really control the library staff about seeing a live turtle. But they thought here it's too loud, too noisy, too much, too big, and they didn't bring them to here because they had already hit that idea or that calling card through the library.
I think the main thrust for that first time we had it last year was really about the Ash Swamp Road project and promoting that, highlighting that, and getting people interested in turtles, because that's
how it started. That was the genesis
that's why
of
we
it.
thought of the whole idea. It seems like it might be useful, when you're saying, is to have a sort of maybe a very family friendly, if you're going to have concurrent, a very family friendly type, and then not that the other's not family friendly, but more technical, if you will.
And it's kind of for families to decide. I don't.
Sure.
But
You can definitely have like an age gap in your target. Like if you target little kids with little fun games and coloring, and then you target grown-ups, but then you've got like anyone from like 10 to 18, let's say, or maybe 15. That middle, that's not like savvy enough with technical teams.
Yeah.
Don't care about the birds really, but they're. They're. Is that kind of what you're
Well,
getting at?
yeah,
more or less?
in
Is
my
that the-
mind, I would think a target audience would be like, the middle schooler boy, but, just because, but now probably girl also, because I'm older. So, I just think of young kids, my loving reptiles and snakes and turtles, that to me is just to make sure there's enough to satisfy everybody's goals.
I think one thing I would just want to ask, and maybe up for discussion, is we've only had one Turtlefest so far, so we don't have, that's the only one we have to compare to. So once we start changing formatting, it might get to a point where you're having breakouts and people are cherry picking, and then one session might not have as much attendance as another session, and you don't want to kind of pull that crowd in one place, and then there's no one at the other one.
Well, I don't think we'd have enough concurrent sessions to do tracking, but like a real conference,
Yeah.
a real bigger conference might have. These are all the things that are about, water safety, drinking water safety. These are all the things that are about stormwater safety. These are all the things that are about thus and such, and then you can
Sure.
just kind of pick and flow. But the other side that's really good, and I always try and tell when I'm working with public schools, you give some kind of workshop, and if 10 people came, just 10 people, you did a good thing. They came on their own volition, they liked it, they did something, and they had an effect. versus the people that said, like, we had 85 people. Wonderful, and what did they do? You know, they had a free granola bar, they took the stickers, they sat there, they saw their friend. That's not half as good as it had 10 people that then said, oh, I sent you an email, I'll send you an email because I'd like to have you do thus and such at my school or my event or whatever it is. We decided we had somewhere just about 70 people last time. If you took away who was the Mark West and the people doing exhibits or the business displays, there was probably maybe 67 people. And that's a beautiful thing. It was how rainy was it? I mean, it was ridiculous. The bird walk in the morning was
That was the last time we had rain in Newmarket.
something like that. Yeah, that was a big deal. So the other situation we're thinking about was who are speakers that do it as part of the outreach of their profession. So, for instance, Fish and Game, boom, they do it as part of the outreach of their profession, and that's huge too, to consider that side of it. So, but like you said, Jess, we've done one, so
Yeah, we've done one.
we can see that it
so-
needs to grow, because we can't just say, great,
Definitely.
let's have Josh again, let's have Lindsay again. We are having Lindsay again. Lindsay wants to do it again, and she wants to get some ideas on the 21st about what could she present about. So,
Just, I mean, I think it'd be fun to have some kind of, you probably maybe already did before, but if you're going to talk about birds and turtles, to have some sort of evolutionary linkage, you know, about reptiles and dinosaurs and birds and how we all, and it would be a way for people to understand connections that way in terms of, you know, turtles really are part of our evolutionary stock, so to speak. You know, and connect them to birds, dinosaurs. I don't know I just think that would be an interesting talk from my perspective to talk about the branches of life and how they changed or evolved, or how, you know, the turtle shell evolved to this. I just think it'd be, it's just an idea, but comparison, biology.
Dinosaurs are
Comparative
always ahead.
biology.
dinosaurs are always ahead.
Yeah.
Turkey vulture, you can't look at a turkey vulture without thinking like, that really could have been.
Yeah, but I was just thinking of a way to connect the web, because you have this diversification goal now, right? In terms of being able to talk about different aspects of the environment. And I just think comparative physiology or something like that is really interesting. Could be captivating for kids.
It makes me think we should probably look at the high school curriculum and where are they in the national science standards, because we might be able to tier something toward some of the standards they address.
Maybe it's not a good idea, I'm just trying to.
One thing we did last year was, we had the library do the turtles, and then we had the book club and the books related to it. So it doesn't have to be all that one day. There could be other things related, like at the library, or we could have a talk here, or we could host a talk in the auditorium separate from one of our meetings. So there's lots of other ways to weave in related talks, so you sort of focus everybody's attention on the
One
topics,
thing-
but we're not going to get them all in on that
Well,
day.
I think that's a good idea. It also brings, if you had staged it over the year, you know, different things could be related over the year.
That's true, but let us not forget that one of our other goals as Conservation Commission is everything, that quick little survey we did, nighttime lighting against, light pollution, plastics in the water, what really are the little triangles on the bottom of your bottle, meaning for recycling at the dump? How can we get stuff out of the landfill? So if you have that template, and what are those kind of presentations and talks, then you have this other massive turtle template. Then you have, I just want to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Then you have, oh yeah, there's those things from NHACC about stormwater runoff. You would have to have everybody in town agree, I will do whatever you tell me every night of the year.
No, I understand. I was thinking from the library's perspective of, you know, as a continuum of education.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot to think about. But it sounds like there is a consensus here for, the concurrent, or breakout sessions are probably a way to go and a way to grow the thing.
Yes, my question is, if we think we'll get enough people coming, multiple sessions.
I think so, and one of the reasons why is because some of the people last year didn't want to be in the big room with the turtles, the injured turtle talk. So I think right away, some of them would enjoy a different talk.
I was thinking, some of that, I know like a lot of the injured turtle talk became a lot of doom and gloom
Yeah,
last year, which I know for probably a lot of the smaller kids
Yeah.
wasn't the most fun.
it was
So
heavy
trying
on the
to-
downbeat sometimes.
Yeah, so maybe trying to balance some sessions.
Somebody opposite that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Another thing to consider is the fundraising aspect. Last year, we were able to donate, what did the check end up being to the turtle rescue? It ended up being more than $1,000, did it not?
So I have to look up what we did. I think they got a total of $2,000 between us and
The church,
the
concert.
I think
So what would we like in the way of a beneficiary? And that's something that I believe this group should be deciding, and not the steering committee, because it's fundamentally a conservation event. So we could still say it's a benefit for the Turtle Rescue League, because they really are good mascots for the whole purpose that we are doing some of this. And the whole Ash Swamp Road is to help save turtles' lives, so I think that's very helpful. But the raptors' tailwinds could be a choice for a beneficiary. And there's probably, you each have some idea of somebody that could be a beneficiary, without even knowing how much money is going to be involved. But people just like the broadcasting, saying so-and-so benefits this, da-da-da. It's always good for them, because all of our marketing did say, here are the groups that are going to get some of the funding. So think about that. Also, T-shirts again. And how do you feel about another marketing aspect beside the T-shirts is bandanas. And this printer right here in town has really nice all cotton or organic cotton bandanas. Traditional size, but have the big John Herman things on the bandana. So it's a cheaper price point, but there could be like everywhere. And I think that's a popular item.
Would that
It's
be
a-
instead of t-shirts?
No.
Or in addition?
En plus de ça, because I
The
think
t-shirts were a hit last
the
year.
T-shirts were a huge hit. You did a phenomenal job at the T-shirt sales stand.
Thank you.
That's where I met you, in fact. So I think that's a bog standard, and I think especially because now it's so distinctive. John's design was the woodcut was so very Turtlefesty. So
You're not doing a different one this year?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
With the year is going to be different, and then once we decided, does it stay New Hampshire, Newmarket Turtlefest? There was a little discussion, should it be New Hampshire Turtlefest, but really and truly, I think it ties in with some of the travel and tourism goals, maybe, to keep the name of Newmarket out there, and,
It'd be a big claim. Call it New Hampshire Turtle Fest. That's a little.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like the idea. I feel
maybe
like-
the rest of New Hampshire might not agree.
Yeah, exactly. That's just
Go do
a
it.
little bold.
I think it's more like
Presumptuous.
yeah,
A
it's
little
kind of
piece of
bold.
northeast.
The best of all.
Yeah, our
Would
snapping
you-
turtle is snappier than yours.
Would you consider, instead of bandanas, I think, what are they called, gaiters? The
Oh,
Neck.
that's a good idea.
headband, the versatile
Yeah.
for outdoorsy
So the neck bands that people use-
hiking and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
They're popular, I just don't know how to get John Herman's thing printed on them.
Yeah, I think there's ways to explore that. Yeah.
Well, check some prices. The bandana's price point, the shirts are $20, so the price point should be something more like
10.
10-ish, yeah.
Yeah, just an idea to kind of,
And local, not the big A or some of the other printers, other places. We were really committed to, well, I don't know how you feel, I'm saying I. It should be something that quite locally is a benefit
yeah,
to the economy.
yeah.
I'm just picturing Zach with, you always have it.
that's pretty
It's so hikery, and so it's a big fad right now for kids to do the very Japanese thing with the food goes in it, and you pull up the four corners. So, but come back with some price ideas. And then how could the Turtlefest thing get printed on it?
Yeah, I'm sure, I don't know which vendor, I think that was a local one here, but they probably could source similar things, if not have any other ideas that they might know better than us.
You'd hope so.
I mean, that's what they do.
That's what they do, that's right. Any other Turtlefest things? I had a very nice, lengthy voicemail back from a person that Bart had suggested. Does anybody here listen to the UNH radio station Saturday mornings, 9 to 11, when it's the polka man? Yeah, Gary S. Okay.
It's been a while, but I used to.
Yeah, it's really fast. I mean, I don't want to come off too zealous about it, because you could listen to it and say, oh, that's right. It's a really fascinating man. He's done it for years. It started out as the history of different ethnic music, and then the Polish thing kind of took over, but it really is all the Romance, Romanese and gypsies and all kind of people with that kind of instrumentation. But he knows a lot, like Mickey Hart, he knows a lot about other kind of people and their percussions and string and concertina kind of instruments and whatnot around the world. But he also does a lot of talks about ponds and creeks and creatures in ponds and creeks. Okay, fascinating, great, big calling card. It's the most popular show on UNH, the UNH radio
He's a
station.
creek man, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, of all things.
Because he's a big swimmer.
Yeah, he swims, the creek man, right. He's a distance swimmer. Remarkable stuff he swims. Anyway, it goes on, and actually I got to give credit to Bart. Bart said, wait a minute, that guy's so popular. And if he was doing it, he'd say on the radio, like, da-da-da, in the Turtlefest. Okay, so I call, I talk, he thinks, and he sent back voicemail that is very, very moving, saying, this idea is wonderful, you know, Turtlefest sounds terrific, I am not sure I'm the guy. And he lists all kind of reasons. And it stabbed my heart like, oh, no, you really are, Creek Man, you are the guy. But he said, get back to him in a couple of months. Well, I'm not sure we have a couple of months for Turtlefest 2, because we really need to start thinking what would be, do we want to even do some kind of a fundraiser afterwards? The Stone Church afterwards had a couple of bands, and that's where we got a couple of K. So what do you think about what could we do that topped that? Or is anybody here, feel like you have it in your social capital to interface with the Stone Church and talk about bands?
I feel like we should do that again. I don't know that I have that social capital, but I could try. Did Julie?
Julie
know
did it,
the
and
band?
Julie has moved, in fact, to Deerfield.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind talking to them, just being like, could we just run that back? Like, I'm sure they still
Yeah.
have the contact info of those bands.
Oh, yeah, they do, and those
Yeah.
bands are probably there as we speak at the open mic, you know,
Right,
so.
yeah.
I don't think it's not that it's tough, but it is tough, because it's time consuming.
Mhm.
It's a lot of phone tag, it's a lot of go there and talk in person, and where's the person that's in charge of the space for music, and da-da-da-da-da. But if we want to do the Stone Church on that Saturday, we really need to book it, because they're getting quite popular for all kind of everything from celebration of life, which is unpredictable, but weddings, anniversaries, parties, they're having a lot of business and promoting a lot as a venue. So if we think we want to do that, we should really try.
So Julie's contact was Patrick, who works for Fish and Game, and he's in a band. So he's the one that did all the logistics with the Stone Church.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
So you could probably contact Julie. And
I
she
know
could.
someone from the Stone Church too.
Yeah.
That I can
And the Stone
talk
Church
to.
will know him, because Sneaky
Yeah.
Doodah is
So
there
you
all the
guys
time.
could- Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
you could line it up.
I think it'll be.
Yeah.
They're pretty receptive.
So Zach and Jess, do you two want to connect and kind of be the spearhead for
Sure.
seeing about, I like the idea of doing the same. I mean, there's something to be said for you want reproducible results. That way you'll know what was successful or what can you build on.
Yeah.
I mean, music on a Saturday afternoon?
Even if people don't care about turtles, they'll show
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
Yeah, there was
Right.
a
It was a
big crowd there
Yeah.
last year.
That's great.
And part of it was the draw of the bands,
Yeah.
so.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like that's a yes, that we want to try the Stone Church again. Okay. Excellent. Done. And you two know how to find each other and can interface with who does what when with the Stone Church.
You go back to the Creek Man.
Yeah.
What did you want him to do I wasn't sure what his role would be.
Well, it's two things. It could have been straight, he's a performer as well. So he could have been a performer, or he could straight up give a lecture about what he does with the habitat idea and whatnot. He really has a big following.
Maybe he'd perform at the Stone Church, and he could also talk at the Stone Church. And
But
give a little-
maybe as we develop this, because he said, get back to me in a couple of months. He really is remarkable. Try UNH on a Saturday, 9 to 11 sometime.
Do we know where he lives? Do we know
Yeah.
what town he's in?
You are one of the Yorks.
Okay, so,
Yeah, yeah.
And could he just like talk about it on the radio station, like promote it on the radio station? Did you talk about that?
That's where I thought you were going with
Yeah.
promotion.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think that entree is there.
Sweet.
Mhm.
Awesome.
And that
Yeah,
could
which
be- that
certainly,
could be
if
nice.
nothing else, they might not,
Flyers on UNH.
and his audience might not wake up that early, but they could come to the Stone Church afterward.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Anything else about Turtlefest we should nail right now?
Quick
Oh, an
catch, you
idea
said
for a
You
keynote.
said a new full design, right?
Pardon me?
A new full design, right? Of the T-shirt.
A new what design?
No, he's gonna use,
Design.
he's gonna use the same design? Is he
Well,
doing
we
it?
had to tell him, because
I
it
would
wasn't.
think a new design, personally. I
We
think that's the way
want
to
people
keep
to
it
collect
cool.
it from each year.
Yeah, from each year.
Yeah, I think a new design makes sense.
And we were trying to decide, when we talked about this a long time ago,
Do two-
before we asked him, was what was the focus? Because remember, was it going to be Bug Fest or Bird Fest, or what was it going to be? Nature Fest. Now that we have the word turtle in it, could it be the turtle with the other feature on it? Instead of the turtles all sitting on a log, all the things sitting on the turtle, who knows?
Dragonfly, frog, yeah. some kind of thing.
How do we feel about that?
Okay.
Yeah,
It should be new, well, it's going
It
to say
should be new.
26, anyway.
Well, it should be a different design, I
Yeah.
think.
I think
Yeah.
completely different,
Yeah.
not just a rendition of the old one.
It could be a,
I mean,
for all
I'm just saying out
concerns,
of my
it could be
hat.
one
but-
turtle, but I mean, whatever he does.
Yeah,
I mean,
let him
could
do
let
it.
him some
I think
artistic
let him
license.
do
the
it.
artist, kind of.
Yeah.
Once we
Some
have
neat
some of
other-
the content, like, be like, here's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Do what you
Send him a
feel
character
inspired
string,
by.
and he can figure it out.
Maybe
Yeah.
once you finalize like the keynote of this year, if you have a theme for this particular year, I think the T-shirt should be evocative of that theme.
If you get Gary to come, it could be a turtle with an accordion.
Yeah, that could be fun. I mean,
That'd
that
be
could be great.
It could be a lot of fun.
It's a little Terrapin Station-ish.
That could be a lot of fun. All right. All right. Good ideas there, and the actionable is landing the date, will it work for music afterwards? Was it a little bit long last time, or am I making that up? 2 to 6 felt a little teeny bit long?
I think third on time, so.
Yeah.
it was kind of 3 to 6, I think, by the time people,
For the music part?
yeah, it was 3 to 6.
I don't think it was too long. I think people were partying. I think they were having fun.
I think you're not really committed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Come and go.
open
Okay.
house type of thing.
Well, see what the church says.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
And
May
do-
9th.
It's May.
It's May 9th. It's the Saturday, that's the Saturday of the same weekend.
And the only thing that might be easier is what was their fee, so that we can just pay it instead of having it be, here's the gate, here's the gate, here's the gate, okay, there's your part, and the rest is for us to donate to the Turtle Rescue League. So it's a little more straightforward with what did it cost to have the stone church. Okay, LRAC Special Permit Application. So we have a letter that is dated September 17th that goes, this is in your packets or not in your packets, or
I
you
don't think
got
so.
it? You didn't get it from
It was-
Bridget, got it from Bridget?
It was on the website. It was in the packet.
It was in the packet on the web, okay.
Oh, it was? I missed it.
Well, here's why that might not matter, because we don't know, that we know this is the response that the Lamprey River Advisory Committee sent back to the state, but we don't know what the question was that the state was asking in the first place. What we know from this letter is that there was documents were reviewed by Lamprey River Advisory Committee for this particular application on a dated so-and-so and pesticide labels thus and such with 3 or 4 brands. Then that the fact that the NHDOT Bureau of Bridge Maintenance has requested easements, okay, but we don't know the who, what, where, and why are those easements requested for. Bridge maintenance, okay, we can infer, but we don't know. Then it lists, again, the chemicals, the products that they want to use, but then LRAC does point out, signed by the chair of LRAC, that there are, the bridges are a source of, or the water that's a source of drinking water, and so here's the concern, and that the Class A river is the Piscassic. And so shall we maybe just table this and say we would like to know what the permit, what are they asking to do that solicited this response from LRAC?
We don't know what bridge, but we think it's the Piscassic River. And we don't know
Plural.
what they're doing.
Well, and here's the more not more interesting. CC, Tracy Sales of DES, Candia Conservation, Newfields Conservation, us, Nottingham Conservation, Raymond Conservation.
So it's not town-specific necessarily.
Correct. And LRAC is correct to point out the invasive species that are all there and what products are targeting, maybe which ones or not. And if it's poison ivy,
Who would go to that trouble to target poison ivy? I mean, that's native to New England. It's not an invasive species.
it's nice when you're on a trail and there's not any,
Well,
but
I mean,
It's a wildlife, isn't it?
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I don't know why they're targeting poison ivy in there, unless it gets entwined in their bridge and back, you know.
I wondered that as well. I mean, embankment and erosion control, and there's all the poison ivy roots. I
Oh, so
mean-
they mentioned poison ivy.
Oh, 3 times. Oh,
Well, I wonder if it gets, you know, Vine, if it gets into the bridge infrastructure.
could.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Yeah, they're not calling poison ivy an invasive. It says various invasive plant species and poison ivy. Spot treatment for foliage.
We've gotten these before, we get this every year, actually. And
I
we
would
never
just
get the
request
per-
that we
never
want
get
to see the
yeah,
application.
yeah.
It's like
So-
we're gonna go past some foliar.
I would think
pesticides.
DOT or our DPW would get this if it's within a water supply, town water supply.
Oh, good point.
Because,
So that
Because-
would be,
because they can treat anything in a right of way unless it's within this setback of a surface water or public water supply. So our only public water supply would be the wells, which would be 152 Grant Road. Well, Grant Road is a state road, the first part. Goes over the Piscassic River.
Yeah, I think it also could be the Lamprey, because it mentions a bunch of towns, right? So the Lamprey is used for drinking water in Durham.
True.
So anything upstream of that outtake
Oh,
by
good
Wednesday
point.
Hill Road, or where is that where it comes out?
Right, but I'm thinking of Newmarket, but yeah,
Yeah.
in Durham. But it only says Newfields and Newmarket. Yeah, I don't think we can, it's hard for me to offer any suggestions because we don't have the permit application.
we just don't even know.
Or maybe because do they still think that the thing over on the Piscassic, the old soap factory, is a place that we get drinking water
Maybe,
from?
yeah.
Because we never even really use that, I don't think,
Right.
right? But we do have water wells very close to the Piscassic River. Right? So if they're doing like the 87, like you said, bridge over at the
Oh.
very beginning, or, you know, by the
Mhm.
or by the ice pond there.
Yeah, and even the Piscassic River and Ash Swamp, the two wells are pretty close to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Because
what.
the first
Yeah.
part of Grant Road is state.
Yeah, I was thinking of up Neal Mill
Mm-hmm.
and the one on the east side of the river there in the field, and then
Right.
also have one down on
Right.
McIntosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if those draw water from, you know, it's hard to say if that water is, that well is picking up, touches the land, and gets water,
Thank you
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like
I know.
pretty deep wells, right?
I think we need more clarity.
Yeah, let's table it until we get some more.
I mean, clearly we don't want to encourage this foliar feed broad spraying of, you know, any pesticide by
At
a
any
water
old time of
source.
year.
You know, I mean, that's something I think that we've avoided, isn't it? Or I don't know what we used. I don't know if I was on the commission at the time when I thought some sort of application was done over at Wigan Farm at some point.
Yeah, there was. It's pretty far from those are monitoring wells.
It was, yeah, but I was just thinking us encouraging the use of,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or encouraging or discouraging. I don't know if that was painted or sprayed either, if it was like cut and painted, or if
Right,
it was
but this
foliar
is,
spray.
they're concerned because they're spraying like right
Yeah,
above the
foliar
water.
spray
I
right
think
above
is-
the water.
Yeah, no, I agree, and totally understand.
In the interest of time, we do know that Zach has to leave at 8 for another commitment. So I'm wondering if we can save the financial summary for just 1 minute. There's no Brian for town council. Jeff, we could hear from you for planning board. There's no George, there's no Riverfront Advisory, there's no Emma, and there's no other updates.
There's no planning board because we meet next Thursday.
Oh, so
And
there's
and
one.
this meeting was after the planning board last month. So
Oh, I
we haven't met
staggered that
since,
by
we
a
haven't
minute.
met since, and I don't have the agenda yet for this month's planning board meeting.
All right.
But
So VII, we can set across for a minute. I was interested, because today, Ellen, I drove past, picnic tables have been moved,
I saw that.
but I didn't get down to Shanda to see if there was the new picnic tables yet.
I think so.
Yeah,
They're
the
there?
blue
Yeah, the blue ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
they're
ones
down
are there?
there.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
didn't get there before sunset, but I saw at Wigan Farm, there was the other one is down there.
So nice. Thank you, DPW.
Yeah,
That's
thank you,
Karen's crew, I
DPW.
think.
So that seemed important to bring up, people. Go cruise down to Shanda and see the new blue picnic tables.
Okay.
Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to make sure that you were here for, Zach. Okay, we can go back financials.
Okay.
And then we'll just see what else evolves before 8 for you.
All right, I'll try to go real quick. So the balance in the conservation fund is $146,018.55. The Shanda fund is still at $4,621.11 for a total of $150,639.66. So the 2,500, although it came to 2,486.93, so that's pretty good. We approved 2,500 for the picnic tables, so that will come out of the Shanda fund. We got some interest, and it looks like we sold another T-shirt, $20. And just a reminder that the outstanding approvals we have are about $13,000 for the Mitchell project, which has run into just a series of snafus related to process.
Oh, boy.
And with the government shutdown, the Federal Fish and Wildlife Service had not reviewed the documents yet, so they are now on hold. But the project is set to go whenever that breaks free. The Ash Swamp Road project, we had approved a couple years ago $5,000 as part of that project, which I think is still going along. This is the Culvert Turtle Crossing project. Rosa Falls Brook, we've allocated roughly $16,000 to that project. And I mentioned the picnic tables. So with all of those things we've already approved, that would bring us down to $114,000 or so. One of the things I stressed to the LCHIP folks was, whether it makes any difference to them or not, that it's really hard for towns to raise money for projects versus, say, a land trust, or, we have this funding cycle that's a whole year out. It's really hard for us to change a warrant article, and we just have fewer sources of funding. So I tried to press that we've been very successful over the years of doing land conservation, but they say, well, what will you do if you don't get LCHIP money? And it's like, well, what will everybody else do? You have to go find it somewhere else, right? So, it's true for any project. So hopefully they understand that and that we are successful.
What's the funding request again on that?
70,000.
70,000.
It was going to be 75. We had to drop it to 70. Because they only fund 50%. So the way that, again, just real briefly, with the way that's structured, and again, they would be giving us almost 50% of that part of the project, which seems like a lot for them. Like they don't like that much. But it's only 17% of the overall project. So that's, again, what I tried to stress is like, this is a bigger project, but this is the way we had to do it, da-da-da-da-da. So,
Nice.
fingers crossed. Any questions about conservation fund?
Thank you.
And then real quick on the general fund, we haven't spent much, so we have a balance of $5,303.22. Are you going to mention minute taking as part of this?
I was going to do it
Yeah.
in 1 minute or in a little
Yeah.
while, because I wanted to I wanted to go back to the idea of Jerry Collins and the weir down at Shanda Park. And I'm going to do the backwards part first. My recommendation, after all the things that I read and found out from old documents and old minutes, is that we need to understand that the question brought before us was strictly, can that weir be pulled out, folded up, and stored in the park that we oversee? That's our question. A bigger question clearly arises over the years about, is it obsolete? Should it keep happening? Should it be an ongoing thing? Is it of historical interest? And then is there a financial impact on the person doing the fishing in that, with that weir? The documents, the most recent documents I read cite $100 is what he makes typically from the fish that he then sells that's bait fish at the beaches. You can decide if that's financially significant or not. Then the other thing is very realistic issue over the years of the safety of other animals because of the weir. Then another issue is also it's very sentimental for him because he set it up to continue, or he's the person continuing somebody else's work. So throughout history, somebody has carried on somebody's work, and then at some point it becomes something we just don't do anymore. We can also say that there are many historians whose philosophy would say, yeah, we can recreate Sturbridge Village all we want, but was there anybody in Sturbridge Village that would say, why have a beeswax candle when you could flip a switch and have a light? Loosely defined. So I would suggest we had some sort of a subcommittee research this and come up with something that we might offer as revisiting the whole weir, because really and truly it's the Fish and Game Department that really controls or has the, well, not really jurisdiction, has the jurisdiction loosely defined of the weir. We're only asked to store it, but the other agencies have other bigger ideas and purposes. And if you look at documents over the last 10 years, you'll see their involvement has gone this way, that way, this way, that way. And there's hue and cry about the fishing weir on both sides.
What about asking the town's historical society to consider it? Not as a live project, but as something that was there, they could, if in the future the weir could be like reconstructed in some way as part of their exhibit or connected. I mean, because you're suggesting most of the value is the historical value, really.
Sentimental and then historical, if you read old documents. But maybe somebody else wants to read all kind of old documents and come back with an idea about it. Over the course of reading these documents, the Historical Society has had different opinions based on the composition of the memberships that showed up in support or in questioning the viability of the weir.
Did you come across any idea of how destructive it is to animal entrapment, other than the fish? Or even the fish count too, but, I mean, other than the target species. I guess for me, my hesitancy, as I think expressed before, was that you don't want something to die in there inadvertently just because it isn't attended like 3 times a day or whatever. It seems like it's antiquated, just for that reason.
I would suggest that from what I read, the amount of fish that are caught for resale for bait is so diminished that that's why it's fundamentally not checked out multiple times a day, as it would have been when it was
Right.
done hundreds of years, several hundred years ago, when it was truly bustling with fish.
Maybe the Fish and Game people are the ones to really decide that.
What's the question?
Yeah,
What's the
It
question
came
before
up
us?
because
Really,
the
what's
question
like-
before us was, can Jerry store
No,
the
I know
thing
that,
in
I know
Chandler
that,
Park?
but what that you're bringing
led
it
to the
back up.
Conservation Commission, that led to Elizabeth saying, well, there's ducks that get trapped there, and then Jerry has to go, somebody calls him, he comes and liberates the ducks.
Right, no, but my question, like, what are we trying to solve? Like, are we gonna decide he can't store it there to disable his ability to
Well, we
have it?
can't
Is that what you're
decide
saying?
that,
Well,
but
we can
we-
decide if he can store it there or not.
We could decide if he
That's
can
what,
store it
that's what I
there.
was wondering if that's what you're asking us.
Well, we already
like-
said he can store it there this year.
No, I know.
But I
so
think
are
the
you-
bigger question is, if we really thought there was some sort of a fundamental thing about the weir, we don't want it stored there, find another place to store it, and there was a time when one of the documents suggested that, and he said, it's too precarious, I can't travel with it anywhere.
Okay, so that's what you're like, we don't like the idea of the weir, so we don't want to store it there?
Well, I don't know if it's we, I'm not saying we,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's gonna surface again, it's gonna surface again, it's gonna surface with rising seawater, it's gonna surface with,
Well, I guess
potentially with the acquisition of another piece of land down there.
Maybe I'm just bringing up the point that, you know, it's like, is if it's not adequately tended, then I think it becomes a liability versus being adequately tended.
But not for us. That's what I'm saying. Like,
For
as a-
other creatures.
Right, so I think Elizabeth's point is we're looking out for all the
Right,
habitat.
but what are we gonna do?
Well,
Like, that's what I'm saying, like, what's the
That's what I
ask?
think
Like,
we-
Well,
what's
that's why I
the,
think
is
it's
it
a
to disallow the
Conservation
storage?
Commission
Or to advocate?
question. That's why I think we're discussing it, because I think there is a downside, I guess. I don't need to be into.
No, no, you're not
Maybe
anti
you're saying
anything.
We don't have like control over, like Fish and Game has control over the
Yeah,
weir
like, he can
itself.
put the weir in every year if he wants to and haul the nets home or wherever. That's why I was saying, like, are we discussing advocating
if we
against
don't
it,
allow-
not letting him store it, or
If you don't-
is it-
Jurisdiction won't be storage,
Yes.
Mhm.
or drying of the nets and storage, temporary use?
Spreading out the nets and drying them, yeah.
Yeah, and storing them there.
It can come up because of increased use of Shanda Park with the potential expansion of Shanda Park.
That's what I've sort of been thinking about is, you know, if we move ahead with any kind of renovation or living shoreline, it's gonna look at that whole expanse from the ramp, existing boat ramp, down to the wastewater treatment plant. And so it feels to me like that should be part of that conversation then when, you know, so we're being in part of that whole restoration. Does it make sense to still have it there, or is there another spot, or not have it there? I think until we advance that conversation, I'm not sure you could argue that the weir storage is having any more impact than it not being there. But once we start really looking at the whole waterfront there, then I think it's like, yeah, should be up for discussion about whether that should still be there.
With the town council having voted to buy the property there at Creighton,
I don't know if everybody knows that. You might want
that was on TV.
Not everybody watches TV shows.
It was on TV. It's got to be true. Wait a minute.
on television.
What?
I've heard about it, yeah.
So there's a house, if you sit at the park, if you're standing at the boat ramp and you look to the right, just barely around the corner, there's a house, the last house has a hillside. That was listed for sale for a while. The town council voted to buy it using recreation funds. So when you're down here and you would come back from the boat ramp and walk on the sidewalk, the town property would stretch unhindered to the very end, right?
The DPW.
Yeah, all the way to the DPW.
Wait, where, like the pump station?
Yeah,
Yes.
between current Shanda Park and the pump station, there's a house that owns all the way down to the water.
That-
Down to the water like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a boat dock out there.
So a very like small sliver.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was thinking like the giant hill with that big
Yeah,
house
yeah.
like way up there. I was like, what?
That
They
would
bought
be
that?
glorious. The town bought that, right?
No, that makes a lot more sense.
There was talk at one point of the park being like recommitted to a different committee, or I guess the rec. Yeah, so I don't know if that's still like a conversation where this also might not be part of our decision making. I don't know.
Good point.
Well, that kind of went by the by and it stayed with us for the capacity of working with,
I think it's still in function,
yeah.
you know, yeah. the whole-
Yeah.
Riverfront, even the Riverfront Advisory Committee, you know, the director has, the president's DPW basically takes care of the part we don't do, and then a lot of people.
We do the permit, if you want to have an event, we sign the paperwork that says yes, and no balloons.
We
And
didn't always have
deciding
that
about
either.
the where.
That was like, we didn't always have that either. That thing just came about. We kind of, I think, if I remember right, we just
Yeah, so
created
it
it like
never-
12 years ago or so, or
Yeah,
whenever.
there
We
was a
just-
particular commission that wanted control of it, and they gave it to the commission at that time, which is only like 15 years ago. So it really hasn't been a historic thought for us to steward.
I mean,
It's a little bit
even
out
the-
of our bailiwick.
even the permit thing was new. Like we just created it one time because we had multiple people, like this kind of unfettered use, like how do we want to control this?
Personally, it's not really our bailiwick to, that's really, or something else.
Even Wendy could manage a calendar for it. It's a matter of calendar.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like done the wedding.
Mhm.
It just doesn't, it's not my particular bailiwick, and I don't particularly think the commission
It's
bailiwick.
it's
I think it's
similar
ours
to,
insofar as we'd like to say, wouldn't it be nice if Newmarket would say no balloons by the water?
well, it was
But that's my personal thing.
when I started, and you probably saw this when you were on the commission before, because I think you were on just before I joined. The Pearsons used to take care of that park and maintain it, and then as I got older, it kind of got switched to DPW maintaining that park, right? And so it's akin to Shopmeyer Park, right? It's like it's this public space, public use space that is highly like developed, right? Like there's a portion of Shopmeyer Park that's very developed at the top, and that was done through it, you know, with monies from the Conservation Commission and input from the Conservation Commission and, you know, some other folks and in a special group, right? But it was never intended to be under the long-term purview of the Conservation Commission, which is why it was turned over to DPW, right? So you could probably make a very similar argument for Shannon Park, where it was, the money was donated, and I think it was really developed by the Conservation Commission, or was it the Shannon Park Committee that blended in or something like that? I can't remember. I wasn't
Yeah,
part
it's
of it.
actually been two phases. One back in the 80s when the land was actually acquired, and then when the commission decided to name it after Mr. Shanda, they did some improvements and kind of took it over. I think that's fair for us to have a conversation now, whether it was really, I mean, that was great. You know, again, you go through these phases, as you were sort of saying, you go through phases and then, okay, maybe the time is to be in a different phase, somebody else is responsible for it. So I think what you're saying though, and I think we could still, is that we care about the riverfront as a conservation commission, so we'd want to have some voice. It's not like we want to be like, we don't care about it at all. No, that's not what we're saying. I think it's just that we aren't necessarily the ones to be the overall stewards, but we want to have a say in how it's, you know, we want to restore the riverfront and take care of it.
We put this in suspended animation, come right back to it, but before Zach goes, I'm really sorry, but I remembered this big thing that we have to vote on, we need to approve, if it's not a vote. We have vacancies as alternates, for alternates. We had more applicants for alternate positions than there were positions open. I can tell you, I'm not going to say the names of the people right now, because it really should just be truly us as a commission voting to increase the number of alternates that we want from 3 to more, or from 3 to 4 or 5, or 3 to a number. Because right now, it's more applicants than available spots, and I can say I was really happy about having more applicants than spots. And the town council said, Steve said, go back, ask this group if we can have more than 3, because the thing right now in the government says we can have 3. If we can have more than 3, then the names can go to the council at their next meeting to be appointed. Because right now, they would say, okay, here's this person and this person. Okay, which one do you want? Okay, and I was terribly uncomfortable with that in concept and personally, because both of them are people that I know. So I want to abdicate the decision. Do you just want 3, and the town council's going to pick one of the 2 applicants? Or would we like to say, because we're trying to gather more people and get more involvement and build more capacity here, wouldn't we like to have more than 3 so that we can have more people doing more things with
That
such
makes
interest?
sense to me.
I think it's the more the merrier.
It's just how many full-time positions we have, if we want to set that as a percentage.
Well, that's what the state says. And Ellen, the document that I've seen from your background, it talked about you can have 7.
Well, according to RSA, if you look at RSA that guides conservation commissions, it says you can have up to the number of your full-time members. So it sounds like we can have 7 alternates. if we wanted to.
Steve's concern was those were elected conservation commissioners, were appointed.
But it doesn't talk about it differently.
It doesn't talk
So-
about it differently. And essentially, we're elected by the 5 counselors that
Yeah,
appoint
they
us.
So, I think we could go to 5. I mean, I don't know that we need to go to 7, but,
I would say why not 7, because you don't have to fill them all.
well, if somebody applied, I think you might have to. I don't know.
Oh, that's true too. Okay.
So if you have 7, and then you have 7, you could have 14 people here at a meeting. I know, it's just there's a lot
Yeah.
of voices.
Yeah, it's
To-
true.
I'm not discouraging more people at all. Like,
no,
I'd
that's a
like to
good
hear more
point.
voices, but that's a lot of people to get,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a word or two. And I think as a planning board member, it's kind of none of my business, to be honest, and more up to the commission itself.
But you are a voter for us.
I know I'm a voter, but I'm supposed to bring a planning board perspective on
Yes,
certain
sure.
things, and this
Well-
is very Concom business
Right.
oriented.
But when you talk about there could be 7 more, and then that means there could be 14 and da-da-da. So what's the pleasure of this group?
So we have one opening right now,
Mm-hmm.
so we could go to 4. Doesn't increase it a lot, but it allows us to
It
qualify
allows us
people.
to have the people that have shown interest be,
It's very rare we have everybody show up at the
Right.
meeting, so.
I like that approach.
Yeah.
Just deal with the
As
situation
it
at
comes.
hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't expand
So,
unlimited.
Yeah, even on the website, if you can make some messaging that we encourage the public to come
Yeah,
and
right, participate.
participate as well, so that even if people say, oh,
right,
it's
and
full.
you can be on Turtlefest, you could be
Yeah,
on
so,
whatever
like,
else we're gonna have going on.
Message some of that as well, so we can say, you know, I'd say we could go up to 4 or 5, but
Okay.
enough more people are interested.
So do I have a motion to increase the number of alternates from 3
I'd go to 4,
to 4?
just so it's not a huge increase.
Is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Okay, thanks, Jess. And a second for that?
Second.
Zach, okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Yes, thanks. I could abstain.
You could abstain.
Is there enough people?
Mhm.
I'll abstain
So-
on that one.
Abstain on it. Okay, so Jeff is going to abstain. The rest of us are a yes. So I can let Wendy know so she can put on the town council agenda that they can go ahead and appoint the people. Okay. Zach is going to exit stage left. Thank you for being here for that. And we do have a note taker as you walk out the door, Zach. We have a new note taker for November. Yep, bye. All right, so we can go back to where we were. Thank you for putting that in suspension so we could get that part done. Were you done with what I suspended you from talking about?
Yeah, I think we were done with, that was about the weir.
Yeah, the
I think
weir
so.
and the riverfront and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just don't want us to be caught unawares when it does come up again, so.
Can I
Mhm.
can I take my planning board hat off for a second? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
speak as
Sure.
a member of the public, kind of Conservation Commission, former member.
Absolutely.
The impact of the numbers it's a historic thing that this fellow's been taking care of for a very long time. Historic to him, maybe, but he's been doing it for how long? How old is he? How many more years is he going to carry it on? Is it, you know? I bet the people of Newmarket hit 500 times more squirrels in a year than ducks get trapped in that thing. Like, not to be crude about it, but it seems like a I don't know. It just doesn't feel right
I
to
understand what you're
remove, to try to like
saying, but-
take that away. And it's not our purview, it's to be like, nah, you know, you can't keep your nets here. And then he's like, oh, I don't have a truck to get these things out of here. And then we kind of end something that some people hold dear. It's
I
like,
was thinking of more the point where he, unaware or just on his own, extends the self-continuation himself. So, you know, there's one thing to be to grandfathered into it, but then he leaves it to someone else. And then that's, because I think you mentioned he felt like he was happy to continue it for person chick or whatever. So it just maybe just to think about, it doesn't necessarily have to go on in perpetuity.
You don't think, sorry, go ahead.
I guess, like, you know, personally, I kind of like that continuation of tradition, even if it is outdated. I know it's not, you know, totally our jurisdiction, but even with the park, if you can highlight it somehow through the historical commission about, the sanctioned method just could be a way to tie people into it, because I guess personally do think it's an interesting feature down there. But I understand, conservation-wise, we don't have any jurisdiction over it.
There is actually a plaque in Shanda Park, it's just overgrown because it's behind our fence now. I'm not sure I don't think it can go on to another person, isn't that the deal with it's grandfather to him?
It wasn't clear when I read over all these
Yeah,
documents.
I'm not sure I thought he was the last in the line was
okay.
able to do it, but
Okay, I was just thinking that
Yeah.
was something to think about
Yeah.
in terms of.
It might still be.
I still think, incorporating into the larger conversation about the riverfront, because then we're not making decision about, the historic value or his ties to it, or
Yeah.
it's a historic feature in the river, but it's part of a larger conversation about the riverfront.
I would
Seems like-
agree with that, and I think not to be insensitive, but it's a little bit uncomfortable when we're talking about someone else's sentimental value. It's tough when that comes up in meetings such like this, because that's not our attachment.
I agree. Yeah. So I would let him. We've let him do it as long as I've been around forever. But the last 15 years I've been around and we've let him do it. And there was some discussion and I may have had some difficult questions for him over the years myself. But it just feels like it would be a difficult thing to pull away for the storage of nets, where we don't have jurisdiction over the actual placement of the weir in the river and the use of the weir. It's on state property, and it's state. Do let them keep the nets there. So,
It was very
and drive them
conscientious
back.
of you to bring it up in the first place at the last meeting.
Well, I'm just thinking about it because I do value history, and it's fascinating, and it's not the only time I've ever seen a weir. I just was asking, I guess I'm still asking questions if it's not well attended, by the proprietor. It's kind of putting on our animal hat responsibility to think about the trap and that sort of thing. And so I think that's why we're being asked, I guess.
Well, thanks for bringing it up in the first place at the last meeting. That was interesting for me to go back and read everything that I read. So you offered me a good chance. Okay. Without George here, he can't tell us anything about energy and environment. I know that they have some ideas about environment, which is going to be great for us to be able to do more with that group and their capacity building. I think their energy piece is pretty well under control, and they're going to be looking at more environmental pieces, which overlap a lot with us. So that was that. If you're interested in going to the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commission's annual meeting, it's on Saturday, November 1st, and the town reimburses you. You pay the $60, but you show it to Bart, hand it in to Bart, you get reimbursed.
Can I ask us, because I think I'm confused, President, are we paying for that, or planning department's paying for that?
Planning department,
They're
according
paying for
to
it.
Bart.
Okay. So she should get to the reimbursements, okay.
I signed up. I'm looking forward to it.
Good,
Okay.
good. Yeah, it's got a
I-
wide array of topics.
Yeah. These are
You send it.
Oh, good.
I'll be there too.
I'll be there too.
We can carpool
All
at
right.
some point even.
Well, there's field trips afterwards, so I signed up for one of the field trips afterwards. So I can't carpool unless somebody's doing the same field trip.
I don't recall, honestly, which thing I signed up for.
Oh,
yeah.
I did it a while ago.
oh,
Yeah, and I'm doing the invasive species management one.
yeah. Did you sign up for the third
Yeah,
session, I
did.
guess?
I can't remember what I signed up for.
It was
I
a
signed up,
while
I
ago.
forget.
Yeah, we were the eager beavers. Oh, sign up. Okay, great. Do it. I just remember that mine was session A, session B, and session C, because it was easy to remember ABC. But they also, when you go, you get a name tag, and it says what they think you signed up for. Anything else here? Those, I guess, were the main things that I had.
You mean done for the agenda or under reports?
Under reports.
Okay.
agenda.
Is this new business time or no?
Almost, because you're done with the financials. There was no committee reports. Old business was, we just did.
I have a couple of things on old business.
Oh, let's hear them.
Okay. So, if you remember, the state monitors Dearborn and Wigan Farm for us, and we usually, if anybody can, we go out with them. So I usually go out with them, and it's going to be October 28th at 9 a.m., which is a weekday, so I understand that folks who work. But if anybody's interested in joining us, we'll start at Dearborn, and I can give you more information. But they do the monitoring, and we just chat as we go, and they do the reports.
Oh.
And then I'll probably do the Newmarket ones in, probably mostly in November, because there's the timber harvest is still going on at Piscasset Greenway. And Joff Barnett is going to do it on his after they're done there. So those won't get done probably till sometime in November, so I'd like to do the monitoring after that. So if anybody's interested, that could be on the weekend or during the week if anybody wants to go on those. I could just correspond.
What's Josh gonna do?
He's going to do a timber harvest too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he has a management plan with Charlie also. Same forester, same logging company will do it.
Is that one that did they come to us to talk about that?
They submitted, he has a management plan, that's all he needs.
Oh, he doesn't have
just
to
needs-
actually do the harvest?
He just has to
kinda
let
talk
us know they're gonna
about
do
it,
a
it's just
harvest.
like I'm doing one?
Yeah,
Okay. Is he doing both sides of the river or
I
just?
think he is. Yeah.
Really? Is he gonna, so he's gotta come in down both roads then?
Yeah. And it's in the contract that the loggers have to repair trails and some stuff related to the cell property, but so we'll have a conversation when they start getting toward the end of the project to make sure they fix the Class A trails in case there's an impact.
I went there a couple days ago, and I was just interested, most of all, when you very, very, very first walk in, on the right-hand side, there's a huge piece of metal. The left-hand side appears okay, but the right-hand side must have been much wetter, because it was all
Oh,
divvied
right at
up.
the gate?
Yeah.
No, so the gate is a little undersized, and so it's got a pipe that you can pull out, so the gate can be open and you have a much wider entrance, and so that pipe sticks up a little ways, so they put that metal plate.
Oh, the pipe, I remember
So they
that.
don't ruin the pipe. Yeah,
Gotcha.
So they can drive over it. They don't pop a tire, or they don't break, I don't know what's, yeah.
Oh, so it's a good thing. It wasn't a big.
Yeah, no, it has to be there, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But they're running trucks in and out every day, bringing out wood, so it seems to be going well, and it's super dry, which is bad for most everything, except it's great
Except for that.
logging.
That's why there aren't very many big, huge divots in the trail.
Yeah.
I've heard it looks pretty selective too.
I think it's a good job. It's, where the forwarder, the logger goes and does the cutting, and the forwarder, which is what carries all the logs back to the landing. It's very heavy, so the route that it takes is the same route all the time. There's pretty big ruts there when you go in, but they have to, at least on the trail and the road part, they have to fix those. So. I don't know what this, it's supposed to be a nor'easter coming, who knows what that's going to do.
Yeah.
We
big
always
rain.
never get anything, so maybe we don't, which would be good for the logging. So anyway, that's the monitoring. I know, were you going to bring up the Neal Mill Road violation, or you want me to?
Go ahead and do it, because I didn't get any information back.
Okay. I don't know if this is sort of old business, but new business, because I think it was after our last meeting. So Neal Mill Road, you recall we got some land use change tax recently. It was from a lot that was separated off from property on Neal Mill Road. And that lot abuts the tributary that flows under Neal Mill Road and goes into the Piscasset River. It's a prime wetland. And the person who bought that new lot proceeded to excavate in the stream and riprap the stream, which is a pretty major violation of our town prime wetlands, and also a state DES violation. So I know the code enforcement officer went out, and my understanding DES was in contact, and there was a cease and desist, but that's all we know.
That's all we know.
We don't know what's happened since then. So that's what happened. So a lot going on that end of town. Yeah, so that's that. I think that was everything I had for old business, so thank you.
That's excellent.
Ellen, let me ask again, so it's at 9 a.m. in the morning?
On the 28th, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
coming back from a big trip, I would love to go.
Yeah, just let you know
Can
if
I
you
just
can-
say a maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Depends
Yeah,
how,
yeah.
if the travel
Oh,
goes, and
yeah.
maybe if there are air traffic controllers still, I don't know.
The planes still fly.
If they're back in business by then.
Maybe we can take a cruise instead.
So,
Were you on the cusp of going to say something?
Well, I was just wondering, I just wanted to bring up one quick thing under new business, if
Sure.
that's possible. So, I listened to a Zoom session that was offered by the director of Guilford's Department
Mhm.
of Public Works, and it was about foam recycling, which
Mhm.
foam is pyrrhine foam, it's very lightweight. And it's a problem for recycling because it's very high volume. So when it is very inefficient for trucks to take it away, and a lot of people don't know that it can be recycled. Anything with a 6 on it, and that includes foam coolers, meat garbage trays, egg cartons, styrofoam, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there is a lot of confusion, and I will admit, personally, over the years, I have a lot of confusion about, is it recyclable, is it not recyclable? It is recyclable. And this woman has started this whole process, or spearheaded in New Hampshire, this process of condensation of this through heating. And so she brings it down from a volume of 90 to 1. And so there are these different hubs, and she started one in Guilford, New Hampshire. But the exciting news is there's another hub coming to Exeter, and that will go online. She is expecting the end of the year. So, first of all, I don't know anything about recycling here in Newmarket in terms of, I don't even know if we do foam recycling here, but she spoke about all these efforts people can make to have collection, et cetera, but it really is a problem in terms of, how much space it takes up in
Yeah.
landfills, et cetera, et cetera. So she's very excited by this alteration of huge volumes of foam to little concrete ingots, she kept calling them. So in any event, if anyone was interested, I could share a link
I
to
sent the link to everybody.
presentation.
I watched it too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Did you watch it too, Ellen? Or am I making
I
it
haven't
up?
watched it yet, I
Oh,
signed up for
okay.
it, but.
Yeah.
But I thought since Exeter's so close by, that at least it'd be good as a first start for us to have some kind of awareness about foam. And she says she has documents that she's happy to share, and we could like update. I mean, that's something I could do, take a pro forma document and update with our town, but about how we would or would not accept it. And she was talking about, very simple to put a little line in the permitted articles for the Department of Public Works. So anyway, I thought maybe be interesting if anyone knew, or you probably know the Kristen Murphy at the town. Okay, so she's the one who's involved with the foam recycling there.
And she's also serves on the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions.
Oh,
So I know
okay.
that she's in the group that's sponsoring the conference November 1st.
Okay,
She's on their board.
okay.
So I know that she's talking to them about how could they share information, disseminate information through all their member conservation
Okay,
commissions.
good. So I was just bringing it up as something to be aware of.
Oh, don't say just, it's a wonderful thing.
Well,
to bring up.
no, because I don't know if what we do or what we don't do, but the point that the Director of Public Works was making is, it is not additional work to collect this, because the DPW people have to sort it anyway. And the amount of trucks, trips, et cetera, is vastly reduced if you can allocate this to another center. So it's also, environmental impact from energy savings, but also the point she kept making is it doesn't require more town personnel to manage the styrofoam recycling than if we didn't. And I don't know if we do, maybe we do.
Couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's Sean who's in charge of our recycling program, solid waste program, and environmental program. Casella picks up our recyclables, so I don't know what their policy is, but I don't think it's not currently listed as a recyclable item.
I looked at the town briefly,
Yeah.
the website too.
Yeah, it doesn't show that. But does it include, like, all the stuff that comes in the packaging around electronics?
Okay, interesting question. So, basically, anything that snaps and breaks, it includes. But if it's soft and pliable, it doesn't. So it does not include around stuff that goes around electronics, maybe because they consider it to be potentially hazardous waste. It doesn't include packing peanuts, because sometimes that's cornstarch, and that would glue up the system. They don't have dirty foam, like, you can use food containers, but she says most people cleanse them very well, but not pipe insulation. So it's something that has to have a hard break crack.
Well, that's stuff around electronics, but
Maybe,
newer ones
maybe,
are
I was
spongy.
thinking of the softer sheets.
no, that big stuff is, I mean, if you could recycle that stuff,
Oh, I was
I'm
thinking,
just thinking
yeah.
about, I don't
if you could
think about
recycle,
just, like,
that's a
bargain, so-
lot of
Oh,
volume.
yeah, it is. It's a huge volume of things that go into the water. I mean, or the oceans, whatever. It's,
So, do you know if, because we don't, our DPW doesn't do any of the actual pickup or sorting of the material, so in those towns, does the town pick up separately that material and take it to this place where it gets reduced in volume, or does it get picked up with everybody else's, all the recyclables in a given town?
She mentioned there are different collection bins that are, there are lots of different ways different towns do it. And her podium thrust really was to get other towns in New Hampshire to become a hub. So that's her first result. But all the adjacent towns can have different drives, and they can have collectible bins at the department center or DPW, or you can have like collection day. She said, like, a 4-hour video of the styrofoam collection day, just like we had a hazardous waste the other day. But I thought it would be good for people to know it could be recycled, because I just did a quick look and I didn't see that on the list, on the town website. So if you wanted, I could try to find out some more information if it's of interest. I don't know if it is or it isn't.
Sure.
The hub they're gonna make in Exeter, right, is it privately owned, is it owned by the town? And
Well-
so is it like we put, our environment and energy, we had talked to Mr. Fox, and we had Mr. Fox put the bins out at the, for people in town that couldn't compost, and we have bins at the transfer station. So like, but Mr. Fox comes and gets them, the town doesn't have to take the compost to Mr. Fox, right, or the stuff to compost. So that's what I was wondering if this was like a private venture, a town-owned venture,
I think-
or and would they have a collection thing where, we can talk to, the folks that work at the transfer station, they'll put a bin out for you.
Well, she mentioned she did fundraising to buy this machine. I mean, to support this machine that was initially given to her by this company that is producing this denserator, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It solidifies it down into ingots. But there is funding available if you wanted to become a hub. Now, the
So-
hub can sell this. She
So
said
what's the hub, is the town,
The
that's what I'm
town
saying,
is
like,
the
is the
hub.
town of
The town of
Exeter,
Exeter will
the
be
town
the
of
hub.
Exeter will own the device
Yes,
and
and
be the hub, okay.
they will make money from it.
Yeah,
Actually, she says the only 2 areas of recycling now, if I remember correctly, that actually make money are aluminum cans and this. And this is her town, Guilford, sells it to a company in Canada that then produces these pellets where they make it into insulation for homes, but it can also be used for decking and other frames and things like that. So she said it's actually a moneymaker after the first 3 or so years. But I wasn't really thinking that we would necessarily become a hub, because Exeter is going to be a hub.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
just that maybe we could, since Exeter is going to be a hub, maybe we could have some kind of collection kickoff for this or something.
I guess it'd be interesting if you wanted to get a hold of Exeter and say, are you going to let people from other towns contribute to your styrofoam collection?
Oh, I was just assuming yes. Maybe you're
Well,
right.
I mean, it's.
No, that's okay.
Just when you least, here's the cynical me. The neighbors say, we don't want people from Newfields, Newmarket, Durham, driving in here
Okay.
with one piece of their old cooler, I mean, things get out of control very, very quickly.
Okay, so I will ask I will contact Kristen Murphy and see
Or
what
even
their
Reagan
thoughts are.
and the Guilford one, and just say, does Guilford accept it from Alton Bay, which is right there
Oh,
adjacent?
I'm quite sure they do.
Oh,
Yeah, from her conversation in terms of.
Yeah, I would ask
Yeah,
Kristen.
the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's all the different
was
satellite
it-
towns. That's why she wants other hubs in other parts of the state, because she's looking for Northwest New Hampshire.
I guess, like the idea, I would see if we could just set up a collection bin at the waste department, so instead of 50 people driving over one piece of styrofoam, if they would collect it, and you could create a single drop-off point. And then,
I
if it's a
agree with
moneymaker for them, and you have enough volume,
Well, they can get it. Yeah.
yeah.
Will they leave a bin here?
So there are lots of different ways to go about it in terms of collection or not, but I could,
see what Kristen says about what their pulse is on neighboring
okay,
communities.
okay.
Yeah, and how they're gonna collect it for their own town, like how are people gonna get it
Okay.
in Exeter to this place? But I think seems like a great idea.
Yeah, without that. I hate breaking that stuff up.
Oh,
It's so static.
I hate buying it.
you just breathe it in when you break it. those
You break
little
it,
things.
just get covered in staticky things.
Yeah,
you
little
can't even-
pieces shoot off.
They're on your other hand,
Oh,
and they're on
and I
your other
think that's
hand.
gonna go into some fish's belly.
Yeah.
But a lucky thing is, the high school's food drive, clothing drive and textile drive is going to take a lot of textiles out of, not as money makers, but as money savers, because every truck that goes out of Newmarket is by weight, not volume. So the fewer old clothes and old sneakers and old whatever that doesn't go in that fast fashion, that doesn't go in the dump, is going somewhere to be either sold and taken apart as textile, or with
That's right, and maybe the high school would be interested in working with this project, potentially.
anything is a potential.
Well, the young woman last time said if you've anything you can.
Right. They got the clothing drive, so if you have old clothes, bring it before
Is it-
October
it went
15th.
Before October 30?
October 15th is when they stop the clothing drive.
And
Stop
where
taking
is it, in
donations.
the high school?
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the e-news?
What?
Is that in the e-news?
You will see it tomorrow in the e-news.
Okay.
I saw it on the bulletin, on that flashing light
I
thing
saw
in
it on
front
the
of the high
bulletin
school.
board, but,
No. By the way, she.
So I put it in the e-news because I thought, A, shout out to the high school, B, thanking us for noticing what's going on somewhere.
That was, I mean, that was one of the ways we helped sell the whole composting idea, was we're gonna remove so much weight
yeah.
from the waste stream.
Oh,
We're gonna
that's-
save the town money,
Mhm.
and we're gonna compost stuff and get that food out of the landfill. So it was, so maybe we could use the styrofoam as you got these full bins all the time, and half those bags are a quarter full of styrofoam.
I think it's like 30% of like waste going into is yard waste or food waste.
Yeah, and I'm thinking with
It's amazing
styrofoam, there's
amount.
another argument, like sometimes,
It's just the volume.
To be totally honest, sometimes I have a bag that's half full of styrofoam going there,
Oh,
because I
yeah.
saved the boxes full of styrofoam
Yeah.
for too many months, and finally break down, like, I'm gonna throw it in the garbage, I guess.
Mhm.
And I do it, and I know it's not by weight going out of there, but sometimes you go there and all these bins are full, and a
The
quarter.
trucks are by volume.
and
I
a
mean,
qu-
they can, weight and volume.
Yeah, but they can only,
So-
what I'm saying is that, like, they're always overflowing, and it's
Mhm.
like, well, if we took a quarter of that, might be volume, might be styrofoam
Yeah.
pieces. So
I guess
it
that's
would,
why-
it would help the town to.
She came up with the idea, just a FYI, I just want to mention this for different events, and her name was Megan Theriot, I think it is. She's PE. She said, a good way to advertise, she's found for the town of Guilford, for all sorts of things with the A-frames. So we were talking about getting the feather banners, maybe we should also invest in some A-frames for things. She just said, with her town, that's just like a perfect way to announce things. Because you were mentioning it yourself, that you've done it.
Yep.
Anything else?
Just one thing, just kind of wondering about, so if we kind of, as a commission, have posted any like invasive species removal management at some of the conservation areas around town, or is that?
Yeah, we have done that. Would you like to help with that?
I would.
All right.
Yeah, so
We'll
maybe-
schedule something.
Yeah.
I have a place I'd like to
All right.
revisit.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time at the Scastic River Loisel.
Yeah,
And
I've been
the-
back
the-
there.
From like the trail, from like where you go into the woods to where the trail splits and goes around the rocks there, removing buckthorn,
So that
not
was
blood,
the-
not buckthorn.
Burning bush?
No, some we did pull a lot of
Honeysuckle.
burn.
Hey,
But
bittersweet.
it was yeah, the stuff you make jam out of. The what do you
Oh,
call it?
autumn olive.
No, the other one. I don't know. I can't
Oh,
remember.
make
European
jam?
barberry, but the other
Barberry?
kind, barberry.
Barberry.
The woods were completely full of them,
Oh.
and we had a work day 2 years in a row. We
That's a
did
hard
it
one to pull.
on work days with people from Liberty Mutual.
Nice.
So 2 years in a row, we hit that area hard, but that was like 10 years ago, and I haven't gone out and walked through there to see if it's come back.
I don't
That was
think it's-
Patrick was Liberty Mutual, so he was.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
big-
Patrick was bringing the Liberty Mutual folks in.
Yeah.
But it was a major effort, and if that, it'd be really cool to see if that worked, if there's like just a smattering of them that came back.
It'd be great to pick.
I
a
don't think
spot.
there's many in there, right?
Maybe they didn't come back, and we really.
But we do have other places where we need to do some
So
more.
the general like, is just remove what's there. Is there a plant in place to stabilize kind of the soils?
I don't think
That
we've
was-
done that
yeah, that was
side of it. We've done the
enforced.
removal
Well,
side, but
right, I guess the follow-up
Yeah,
mitigation.
we've talked about that too. Yeah, most of the places are just so infested that we haven't gotten to the place where we
Yeah.
can restore it.
Yeah.
It's really hard in the seacoast here. We're pretty infested with
Yeah.
invasive plants.
I think
It's
that was
very
a-
difficult. Yeah, but that's great.
Woodin's farm last month, and it
Yeah.
seemed like there was some like
Yeah.
bittersweet creeping up on the edge. It's
Yeah.
like potentially good.
Yeah, yeah, we could plan one. We should, maybe we'll do one.
we should, so that would be a great goal, is to pick one, like they always teach you through UNH, like pick one that you think you can have a real impact.
That's right.
You know, the place that really could use it, that's small, that would have an impact, is those little pocket parks on Riverbend.
Oh,
Madison
that would
Drive.
be beautiful.
There's one there. We could do that. Maybe we should do it there.
That would be the ticket.
Something like that.
It's very
Canvas
doable.
neighborhood beforehand, go,
Yeah.
door to door, say, hey, we're gonna help take care of this park. Would you wanna get involved? And just gets our face out there. Very direct.
And we have a couple of key environmentalists that live by those two pocket parks
Yeah.
too.
What, I assume we're talking to Saturday,
Yeah.
right?
That's really constructive.
I'll check with Lizzie, see if she can
I was gonna say, we have a
rally
couple
the
of key
forces.
residents, and that would be one.
Yeah,
One of the educators through CELT that does all kind of children's programming and adult planning, and a key person in the CELT Trail Fest lives on the street that Ellen just referenced with these two little pocket trails. So that would be a really nice connection.
Yeah.
let's see, in October, let's just see what we got for dates. How about?
There is a patch of knotweed at Chanda Park, if you wanted to just go down there and do something.
Yeah. During last week, they started to electrocute knotweed as a new technique.
Oh.
Oh,
really?
my.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Apparently, they've
Doug
had some
talked-
positive
Doug Simon
results.
talked
Just
about that.
zap
Oh.
it.
Where'd you say they're doing?
Where was it?
So I was just at a class last weekend, and some people were talking about it, but I don't remember the location. But since it's all spreads by rhizomes, you can get the whole patch.
Or partlets of any kind.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating, because the
What they
steam
do
thing
in
didn't
Europe
work. It
somewhere?
kind of works
Yeah,
in
Doug
sidewalk
Sagan has
cracks,
talked
but-
about.
Yeah.
doing that,
About doing that in Europe or somewhere?
Yeah.
Is that where it was first done?
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of this stuff comes from over there.
That
Yeah,
was
if you've
November.
had knotweed on your property in Great Britain, you have to disclose it.
That was
Yeah.
November 15th.
That works.
Yeah.
That would give time to
There was
coordinate.
plenty of time to coordinate some things. Ground shouldn't be frozen yet.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Hopefully it gets moister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other option to reach out to the high schoolers and see if
Okay,
they need a volunteer day.
all right.
Say November 15th?
Yeah.
So it'd be a
November 15th.
local thing, not a nature groupy thing.
Probably, we'll probably just try to get to town because it's a small park and so we wouldn't want to be overrun with
What's wrong with
What's the
people?
park you mentioned?
It's one of the pocket parks, either on Riverbend or Maston Drive. I'll have to pop out there and see which one we might want to work on. They're these
Yeah, they're
tiny
kinda
little parks.
steep. I mean,
Well, one of them's not. One of them goes from the I think that's.
well, yeah,
the-
because the one even is labeled Education Center.
Well, two of them are, but Maston Drive is right where the old water treatment plant is, and then it goes down to the river. So we own this beautiful little piece on the river, but it's completely infested with invasives. There's a lot of poison ivy, so people need to be aware of that too, but, it would be nice to clean that up. Did you guys ever do any work up there? And that was, I never
The
did
only work we
anything.
did on those parks, we did work on 2 of them, and it was all because of trees that had fallen out
Yeah.
of an adjacent property or were hazardous. But
Yeah.
we didn't do any invasive
Yeah.
species removal that I remember.
And that might be a place where it's so infested that we could, clear it out and then reassess if we want to do any plantings
Sure.
next spring.
Would you be able to get, we used to get the tools from Great Bay Discovery?
Yeah, I actually can get them from Selt over
From Selt.
in Burley, so I can get
Oh,
the
yeah, that's right.
tools. You know?
Was one of the perks we were talking about last month, about trying to see what people wanted to do with it. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Those are these little pocket parks that are just kind of been sitting there, and
Yeah.
I think the neighborhood uses them, but there are, we stewards, and we've got these signs that we don't do anything with them, but I feel like we should.
Yeah, it's a
It
perfect
would
way to
be-
grow.
Yeah, and another way
Right,
to
to
get the word
promote
out
them.
and see what
Yeah.
the community wants to do with it that day. Just kind
Yeah.
of talk to people as they're working and saying, isn't this great?
Yeah. All right, cool. Nice, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's a grand idea. Well, all the ideas are grand that have been brought up tonight. I didn't mean to.
Oh,
Just
I
now,
think everyone is like, has a fun perspective, and it's, I think it's always, you learn from everybody.
just one other FYI, I'm leading a walk for the Sunrise Center on Tuesday at 10:30 at Heron Point, which is, I think, the 3rd time we've tried to schedule it. First 2 times it was like 90 degrees and 100% humidity, and now there might be a nor'easter on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to do it, but that's scheduled.
If I were here, I'd love to.
You've tantalized us. Where are you going?
Oh, Spain, Portugal, and Morocco.
Oh, nice, beautiful.
So,
Really beautiful. Well, the 15th, I'm getting filmed for Growing Green for channel WMUR for garden photography,
oh,
landscape photography. But not here, it's at the Audubon, Massabesic Audubon Center. I wish it was somewhere here, but it's there.
congratulations, it's exciting.
Yeah, just more ways, I didn't say it for anything other
No,
than
no,
like,
no,
this is
I
like
didn't know you
this.
did all that, I didn't know you were a photographer in addition to being a writer.
It's the only way you can get the photo you want to go with the story you wrote. It's a control issue. Anything else? Okay, does anybody know anything about anybody that's going to be our minute taker?
I don't know, a little bit.
Okay, to burst the bubble here, we did get a minute taker. It's in fact going to be a landscape architect. Do you know any landscape architects? or-
I know one that I
You know-
live with.
We actually know two.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is one, but okay. It's going to be, Luke's wife is going to be our minute taker, taking that role over from Bridget. I shouldn't say wife, significant other is going to take over from Bridget for being the minute taker.
Yeah, starting next month.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to have a background and whatnot in it too.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Anything else? We're packed up, ready to go. Do I have a motion? Anything else? No. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Okie dokie. That's it. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. That was Ellen first and Jess second. Thank you.